You have probably heard many times how crucial healthy emotional regulation is for mental health and stable relationships. Yet, it can be confusing because sometimes people talk about emotions and other times about affects. In this video, I will explain the difference and why it matters. Developing a deep understanding of affects can actually completely change the way you experience therapy, relationships, and life in general. In fact, there are different definitions of affects. Various experts describe them slightly differently. An affect is a broader concept than an emotion because it includes unconscious and organic components. Unconscious components can be implicit memories we are not aware of, yet they influence our thoughts, emotions, and bodily responses. If you're interested in a deeper explanation of implicit memory, I will link a video below. Organic components refer to whatever happens in our bodies when we experience an affect. An affect is the most basic form of emotion and an immediate physiological response of the body. It's a momentary reaction of our nervous system to a stimulus. For example, when something scares you, your body instantly jolts, your heart beats faster, and you feel tension in your chest. Affects are therefore short, intense bodily emotional impulses that occur even before we can put them into words. Why are affects so important? Through affects, we can actually access unconscious networks of feelings, thoughts, memories, and beliefs. This allows deep processing of material that may be connected to the roots of our psychological or relational difficulties. This means access to trauma, unresolved experiences, unmet needs, harmful beliefs, and defensive mechanisms that often appear in toxic relationship patterns. Working with affects enables clarity and awareness, the first step toward healing. It allows trauma resolution, which can happen in several ways. For example, bringing awareness to an unconscious problem that was formed early in childhood and now resolving it in a different way, in a more mature way. Or finding answers to painful unconscious questions or doubts. Or recognizing the deepest unmet needs and beginning to fulfill them oneself or in relationships, or both. Completing a story so that it becomes an integrated whole, allowing the brain to send it to the past. One of my favorite psychologists, Diana Fosha, talks about core or primary affects. These are central experiences that arise when defenses like silencing, pretending, masking, and even humor are removed in therapy and when the client feels sufficiently safe in the relationship. Core affect carries vivid energy and zest, which can have a strong healing potential when we know how to safely recognize, feel, and channel it. The goal of therapy is often to dive into these core affects and harness their power. According to Fosha, core affects are experienced deeply in our bodies and lead to transformative experiences, feelings of connection, clarity, and calm. Safety is fundamental. For Fosha, safety is the foundation of everything. Therapy is not a place to force emotions, but a space where enough safety is gradually built so that defensive systems can relax. Only then can core affects emerge without threat, not as drama, but as life returning to the body. Fosha sees affects not as something that overwhelms and must be suppressed, but as a natural path to healing. When we allow the body to safely feel core affect, defensive structures release and authentic vitality is restored. Traditionally, therapy has focused on cognition, even though people actually come to therapy because of affects. The issue is not the affect itself, but the ways we've learned to relate to it and the constructs we've developed because we were unable to regulate those affects. These are various defensive mechanisms which can show up as toxic relationship patterns or as dysfunctional self structures expressed in harmful beliefs about oneself and the world. After trauma, experiences of affect become very limited, interfering with our relationships and fragmenting the sense of self. Without deep affect, there is also no deep relational connection. In successful therapy, radical acceptance of the client allows one to connect with their deepest affects. A skilled relational therapist empathizes, attunes, and validates the client. A new experience within a relationship when the therapist responds differently than early caregivers did, combined with a new experience of affect regulation, leads to true healing. I hope you learned something new. Thank you for exploring with me. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.